We live in a universe of infinite possibilities, but what causes us to only conceive of certain possibilities within that field? Because everything is here. Everything that we wish to experience is, in a certain way, already possible, already exists. And if you ever heard tuning your frequency to be able to shift into that reality where you are that version of yourself, well, it's not just about thinking better thoughts, because we often think that the thoughts that we're thinking are causing us to feel the way that we're feeling. But a different way of looking at that is that the same kind of feelings come up when we have certain limiting beliefs in our life. And when we can go into the root and question where those beliefs and programmings came from, just through the power of awareness, we start to free ourselves. We start to expand our consciousness because the awareness is the conduit. So, welcome to this video. I'm Joshua, and this channel is dedicated to helping you tune into alignment. And today we're diving into 3 ways that you can reprogram the subconscious, limiting beliefs through self-inquiry. First off, what is a limiting belief? Well, in relationship to all things are possible, these are those limiting beliefs that we hold that are not necessarily true, that limit our potential. And also, because beliefs create our reality, because thoughts are vibrations, and a belief is a repeated thought pattern, those beliefs get held in our subconscious, and kind of the collection of beliefs that we have form our subconscious programming and form our identity. So deep level transformation I found in my own journey is about working on the level of self-image and working on the level of identity and questioning where my beliefs come from. Because also, if you look at the law of assumption, assuming it to be true, feeling it as if it's already happened, feeling it if it's already done, well, that possibility already exists within the quantum field. And we're just synchronizing with the timeline, with the stream of synchronicities that allows us to live in that reality, which requires a change within. Because what happens is we try to change things externally. We don't have enough money, so we try to change the external effect of not having enough money, but really the cause is worthiness. And a limiting belief around that might be, I can only make so much money. I know for me, in starting this channel, I've known that sharing my work online and being a creator and stepping into that creative consciousness is a part of the larger abundance in my life. But I had these limiting beliefs that who's going to listen to what I have to say? I'm not an expert, and I'm not pretending to be. I'm sharing what I'm learning along my journey. And I know that in doing that, as I started to shift that belief and be like, well, is that actually true? No, it was that thing of putting other people's perceptions of me on a pedestal. And as I started sourcing that validation within myself, I started to realize that actually I have gifts to share, and I'm valuable and I'm worthy by being me, by being myself. And again, these beliefs also are like the scripts and the codes that run underneath our reality. And it's like they're automatic. Like if you ever look at the principle of auto-suggestion, it's the idea that as you start to have these deeper thought patterns, belief patterns, as you start to reprogram that, then you'll start to you'll get inspirations and you'll start to automatically take the action that the version of you would take. That was a big part of this journey of realizing that I have a worthy message and important, helpful perspective and gifts to share with other people. And that as I stopped caring so much about what other people thought of it, then suddenly lots of people are starting to appreciate and to show up and to connect with what I'm doing in my life. So it was like a shift in the mirror. It's like a mirror principle. It's a reflection of what's going on in you. And then when I made that shift internally, then I started showing up and regularly making these videos on this channel. And so a limiting belief that could be holding you back is that you believe that you have to have it all figured out in order to show up and start pursuing your passions or start living into sharing your gifts or leaning into being the version of yourself that would be living in your dream life. And what I found is that it's because it's like the carrot on the stick of manifesting is what I call it. It's like you think that you'll feel better when you have the thing, but the feeling is the secret. And so when you presence your awareness in the here and now, you can access that feeling here and now. And you can start to make those identity shifts, those belief shifts. Because another thing is, like, if you're not attracting a relationship that you want, you could think that you're not pretty enough. But is that necessarily true? Like, where did that belief come from? And we can start to look at that even what we conceive as success and what we conceive as that, oh, I really want this relationship in order to be happy, is that whenever we try to outsource our happiness, in a way, we're in this rat race frequency. We're in a frequency of lack. And a frequency of lack in itself is a limiting belief because the universe is abundant. And the reason that self-inquiry is so powerful is because so many of our beliefs are automatic that what people think is truth is very often just a very solidified belief. And that when you just start to consider and ask yourself, where did this come from? Why do I believe this? It has so much power because now the awareness is what the healing happens through. The awareness is where the inspiration comes through. As that clearing starts to happen on a deep emotional and energetic level, then you open up your channel to be able to receive divine inspiration and guidance and even creative artistic ideas and business endeavors that will all be successful. That's how you access those fruitful ideas. But first we have to expand our consciousness and can expand our conception of what is possible. Because for one person, a miracle is completely normal. And for another person who does not believe, they can't even believe that that even happened. But it happened. So it's just like, where is your level of belief in the fact of the solidity of this 3D reality when really everything is made of energy? So the first way to reprogram limiting beliefs is to identify the feeling behind it. So when that thought is coming up, like, I'm not smart enough, what are other people going to think? Those inner voices, those inner doubts, whatever that criticism that is that's keeping you from doing whatever the thing is, what's the feeling behind it? Where's the feeling coming up in your body? Stepping into that witness awareness and being aware of it in the moment and presencing your awareness in the moment is so powerful. That's where all the transformation happens. And then as you start to notice that feeling, now you're kind of gaining a somatic map of these markers and places within your body where these feeling tones are coming up, and then the thoughts that arise within your consciousness around that thing. And for me, it's like when those any sort of self-doubt that was keeping me from fully creatively expressing myself had to do with self-confidence. So from an early age, I didn't believe I was good at singing. I'm a musician at heart. I love to sing. But it was like I started to ask myself, looking in the mirror, where did this come from? I started to look at these things that were causing me to not be fully confident in myself. And I started to welcome those feelings in, and I started to look at those shadows within myself and greet them with love. And just doing that is the secret to alchemy. There's many different ways of approaches of going about it, but that's just, from my experience, it's kind of a common thing that ties them together. It's like having that witness awareness, being able to feel it, and being able to love it, and also being able to let it go. Because I had an experience as a child where my stepdad, I was in the truck with him once, and I was singing to a song, and it really triggered him, and he yelled at me for singing, and I internalized that as a kid, that I wasn't good at singing. Obviously, this is nothing on him, but I'm just saying that those things that happen earlier on could then create this thing where it's like now, I felt like I was scared to express myself in front of other people. And also I was just generally very shy as a kid because I was picked on and bullied early on. But then as I was able to go in and see that that wasn't a reflection on my worthiness and be able to process through those emotions, I stopped attracting that in my life. And I also was like, actually, I love to sing. I'm good at singing. I can do this. And I started to sing every day because I made that shift on a belief and energetic level. And then I became really good at singing and started to make music that people really like. And, so being able to go into and be like, look at that, where did it come from? And then being able to free up that energy through our awareness to be able to transmute that, then we can let it go. And then when you let it go, you create space in your consciousness to then be able to wire in a new belief. Number 2 is this really true? And basically, like, if you had a belief that you aren't pretty or handsome enough and therefore you can't have love in life, is that really true? It's like going in and asking myself, is this really true? Okay, what does it feel like when I believe that? It's either yes or no. And then feeling how it feels like when I believe that. And then who would I be without this belief? What would I feel like? And then, then you start to feel like it starts to open up this possibility. Because it's like it's a limit on the limitlessness. So when you expand past that limit, then you're like, okay, well, what would it feel like if I believed what I wanted to believe? And this is like the 4 steps of inquiry from Byron Katie's work. And basically what that does is it starts to like actually question, is this actually true? Why am I holding this belief and what does it cause me to feel? Because are any beliefs actually necessarily true? And what, are they serving us is really the question, because how does it make you feel? And just being able to ask that question starts to basically unravel and decondition that programming to create space. And the last one is to treat it like a mirror. What is this belief coming up that, say, for example, it has to do with you're having inner doubt around expressing yourself in a situation. Or maybe it's stepping out in a certain way to share your voice. And you're having those inner doubts coming up. Well, what is that a reflection of within myself? It's a reflection of a lack of self-confidence, like I was talking about earlier. And then when you feel that energy within yourself, you look out and you say, is this actually, am I projecting a limiting belief onto what's going to happen based on an expectation of a past event? Is that actually what the mirror of life is going to show me? Is that actually true? And if the mirror of life is showing you that, then you can also use that as a reflection to say, oh, well, then I have this limiting belief within myself. Or if you're having those doubts coming up, but the mirror of life is showing you something different, then it's just showing you a place where you can basically, where you're holding yourself back because you have something going on energetically that when you allow that shift either way, then you start to shift that reflection that you're getting. And it's also like it's a reflection within yourself of where are these thoughts really coming from? And that's the last thing that I say about that, kind of using that mirror principle, is being like, where did this come from? And like the story I shared earlier, some of the things that we think in our own inner criticism aren't even us. They're like stuff that we pick up as we're growing up, stuff that other people told us was possible. Or if your parents ever wanted you to, turn out a certain way or get a certain profession, or, maybe a society told you that, only artists always struggle or whatever. Like if you see yourself like it's a mirror, right? You see yourself acting out those conditionings, like being able to go in and go into the deeper levels and be able to reprogram that is really powerful, because other than that, they're running in the background. It's like a background process on a computer. Your subconscious tank is like has these processes that are taking up, the processing power, that as you go in and clear and transmute and free up that space, then you have more processing power to put towards the programs that you really want to kind of like install those new beliefs. Like I am worthy, I am happy, I am healthy, I am free. And a really powerful journaling practice for this is to go into any of those beliefs, like say it was fear of expressing yourself. go in and ask yourself, well, why am I afraid of expressing myself? Maybe I'm afraid that other people aren't going to receive me. I'm afraid other people are going to judge me. And then you write those down. So those are the limiting beliefs. The fear itself is just you're afraid of something, but if you ask yourself why, now you've got a deeper level. Now if you ask yourself, where did this come from, to those, then you can start to basically just do a practice where you write everything that comes to mind, kind of like a automatic writing or a brain dump. And then you can just pay attention to the story, the unconscious story, and be aware of it and feel it as it's coming out. And then you're able to look at it, appreciate it, thank it for what it did in your life. Thank you for the story that played out. And now from this greater place of awareness, you can be free of it. And a really powerful practice for that is to actually just burn it. So writing out where did this come from, or writing any sort of limiting beliefs and then burning it. And just imagining yourself letting it go. And as you start to do that, it creates kind of like energetic, emotional freedom, like a spaciousness. And then it's easier for you to focus on your intentions and to feel confident and feel good and stable in your body and be able to live in your own unique perspective. Because that's also what this does, is that you're connecting into the source. Because like I was saying, these programmings and stuff that we pick up, they're kind of like gunk in our energetic system. They're kind of like ones and zeros in the matrix. And that is, it seems so simple that it almost seems like it should be something more, but it's how you hack the matrix, is by questioning your own beliefs. Because they're the very thing. They're the invisible prison. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't have lots of money. Where are all these thoughts coming from? Are they necessarily true? Because those are the beliefs, and the beliefs create your reality. So what I noticed in my own journey is that when I shifted through these things and I started to expect that things are always working out for me, best case scenario every single time, and that I always have more than enough. I mean, I literally went from being homeless in a tent to being able to manifest and travel across the country multiple times, to manifest a camper van and to go live in Sedona for a year and a half, to now come to California and go from making basically no money to making more than enough money to live the life that I was living. And now stepping into this place where now I'm creating on the regular. But when I was going through that, I was still like not fully showing up, because I had these beliefs that like I had to have it all figured out. I had to be like, it was like this perfectionism that was keeping me from just showing up and creating and sharing. And as I worked through that, and then I let go of caring what other people were, like my concern of what other people were going to think about it. And I took my dream reality down from a pedestal and I've been starting to like feel that every single day. Then I'm starting to like live into that version of myself. And then, more people are showing up to appreciate what it is that I'm creating, and more opportunities, like business opportunities and connections and, new friendships that weren't there for me before start to appear. So it goes to show you how, as we do this deeper work, that it starts to change the codes that are running our reality, and we start to access more inspiration. We start to take the inspired actions, because now the programming is coming from alignment with that new version of you that's causing you to take those automatic actions, rather than those automatic habits that are leaking and basically your energy and causing you to feel drained. Now you're having these automatic habits of, doing the things that inspire you and, being healthy and all of this other stuff. It's very simple how you can shift these codes. And now it's like it starts to become normal once you shift. Like I was talking about, it's all happening simultaneously. It's like every single moment, there's all these possibilities of timelines that you can be shifting in the moment, because it's all right here, right now. And then you're on that positive stream of synchronicity. But it's not just just thinking, shallowly thinking better thoughts. It's thought, feeling, emotion, identity, belief. It's deep, like full spectrum transformation. And being able to prioritize that inner work and giving, that devotion again, having that daily devotion to that, living it as a practice and bringing that energy work and bringing that awareness and kind of living meditation into your life starts to be able to free you, because awareness is the conduit, and awareness is what the freedom happens through. It's what, as you expand, then you start to conceive of these new possibilities, you align with that highest timeline, and then you're on a positive wave of synchronicities where everything is working out for you, best case scenario, and you do always have enough, and you don't even have to worry about it. Blessings, and thanks for tuning in. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up and leave a comment of how you're shifting into your highest timeline. What kind of beliefs are you shifting? What's going on in the conversation? And also, the bell helps you to get notified of the daily videos when you subscribe. And for a limited time, I just want to share, I'll include this in the link below and pin it to the comments. I'm doing a handful of one-on-one sessions. It's only going to be for a limited time as I move towards doing more group work and live events, like live online events and stuff like that. But I'm feeling really called to offer this, is to actually dive into everything that I've shared in this video and be able to wire that in with basically connecting to your life purpose, connecting to, using tools of energy work, and basically bring together modalities of basically letting go and clearing through these patterns and to open up into embodying the new version of yourself. So if you're ready to let go of the past and step into the new you, to step into your highest timeline, I highly recommend doing that while we're still doing that. And thank you so much again for tuning in, and so happy to see this channel growing and expanding. This is all for you guys, supporting all of us in our awakening journey. Blessings.